What if the greatest gift the heavens ever gave our world was also its death sentence? Our story begins not with an end, but with a miracle. For millennia, our world had one constant companion, a silent God who tamed our oceans. Until a wanderer from the void answered a call we never made. It was not an invasion. It was a gravitational adoption, written in the laws of physics. And in a single silent moment, the sky of humanity was rewritten forever. And so the world looked up as one. It was a spectacle that silenced the noise of nations, a headline that united every screen. For the first time in an age, all of humanity shared the same singular obsession. It was given 1,000 names: Artemis, Selene, the sister. In every culture, it was a sign of magic, a cause for celebration. A new muse was born, inspiring a renaissance of art and wonder. The imagination of humankind, dormant for so long, was set ablaze. New poems were written for a new goddess in the sky. And promises were made beneath the light of two heavens, believed to be twice as strong. But while humanity looked up and dreamed, the numbers below began to tell a different story. The planet's oldest voices were the first to cry out in chaos. The magnetic compass etched into the soul of every creature began to spin wildly. The first warnings were written in water, quiet, relentless whispers on the shore. The very foundation of our world began to groan under a new, impossible weight. But the voice of reason was drowned out by the roar of global celebration. The first obituaries of the new era were written for lonely ships, lost to the deep. The omens grew larger, clashing against the steel monuments of our own power. The beauty in the sky began to demand a price in darkness on the ground. The celestial ballet had begun, and its grand stage was our oceans. A perfect alignment, a perfect, inescapable formula for annihilation. The ocean did not rise. It drew a single, impossibly deep breath to reveal the bones of secrets and empires long drowned. Humanity's final act of innocence was to walk with curiosity into the jaws of the beast. And on the horizon, the beast opened its eye. Humanity's will to survive versus the cold, calculated fury of the deep. It was a race that could never be won. The first act of the gravitational waltz had begun. The works of centuries, the defiant walls we built against the sea. Were erased in seconds. There was nowhere left to run. The iron birds we built to conquer the sky were broken by the sea. This was not a local tragedy. It was a global baptism by water and salt. The steel serpents that connected our continents were severed. And so, the greatest exodus in the history of our species began. Even in the deluge, the instinct to save, to reach out, shone through the darkness. It was a war fought not with bullets, but with weary footsteps against a rising tide. The lifeblood of a global civilization stopped. And fear, the oldest plague, spread faster than any flood. The maps of our world were being redrawn by an unforgiving hand. But this was only the overture. The true enemy had yet to show its hand. The enemy changed its tactics. It no longer attacked from the sea, but from the very ground beneath our feet. A concept that existed only in textbooks had become a terrifying planetary reality. The eternal earthquake had begun. The giants of glass and steel danced a slow, agonizing ballet of collapse. The planet began to shed the fragile skin of our civilization. The symbols of our connection became pendulums of death. Every path we had laid now led only to ruin. The fires we had tamed underground were unleashed upon us. The pressure of the heavens awakened the titans sleeping in the deep. And the earth ripped itself open, screaming fire at the sky. A monument of serene beauty became a vessel of pure rage. And the greatest giant of them all began to stir from its long slumber. The sky, once a canvas of wonder, became a shroud of poison. And the gift from the heavens became a pair of malevolent, ghostly eyes in the gloom. The long winter began, not with snow, but with the ashes of a world. The sky that had given us life now rained down death upon us. The eyes we had placed in the heavens to guide us were extinguished. The sky was no longer ours to command. And the atomic demons we had chained in the heart of our cities threatened to break free. But even as the world died, the will to live refused to. They fought for every seed, every last chance at a future. They fought for every breath in a world that was choking. And in the deepest darkness, they searched for a single spark of their own making. The laws of climate, the sacred texts of our planet, were torn to shreds. A world of impossible extremes was born from the ashes of the old. Civilization became a ghost, haunting the grand tomb it had built for itself. The absurd became the new reality. And in the face of extinction, all the flags of mankind lost their color. Humanity returned to its first and last fortress, the family. The fall was complete. Time, the great healer, also leaves the deepest scars. The planet found a new equilibrium. And so did humanity. They no longer sought to conquer nature, but to hide within its folds. They learned to grow their gardens in the heart of the stone. The past became a ghost story, told to children who could not understand the fear. They learned to live by a new rhythm, the complex divine rhythm of their two heavens. Technology was not lost, but reborn from scraps and necessity. For this new generation, the twin gods in the sky were not a catastrophe. This was home. A breathtaking beauty bought at an unimaginable price. Humanity did not abandon the stars. It now sought to understand the very gods that had smote it. The earth was not dead. It was merely rewritten. The destructive dance was over, leaving a fragile new piece in its wake. The will to survive had won, but the prize was a world its victors would never have recognized. It reminds us that in the vast, chaotic symphony of the cosmos, but simply the lucky exception.